I'm going to do my best to keep this raw and uncut. All my life, I've been outcast because of this, because I'm different. From elementary school throughout high school, kids will make fun of me. And at that time, I didn't know what to do with it. And all a kid wants to do is be accepted. All a kid wants is their peers to embrace them, figuratively speaking, to see them as an equal, not as somebody different, not as somebody as a pirate. But I consider myself an outcast, a pirate, wordplay, keyword pirate, Captain Hook. I've been called those names too, but it was kind of ironic now that I'm older. I like being an outcast. I like being a black sheep. It's my superpower. But when I was in high school, I didn't see it as a superpower. It never crossed my mind. I remember coming home from school many days and crying to my stepmother, ready to jump, so to speak, ready to delete myself. And my mom would tell me, son, you're you're gonna have a woman one day and she's gonna accept you the way you are. She's gonna embrace your gifts and she's not gonna see your hand the way other people see it. And this is why I care about people and their feelings and their emotions. And it hurts and it cuts deep when I hear, especially young people, who don't feel good about themselves. I'm very sensitive to that. I can tell when someone is depressed, even when they're doing really good at hiding it. My grandmother, she saved me a lot. She kept me sane. She was very spiritual. If you notice, I didn't say religious. She wasn't a Bible thumper. She knew how to meet people at their level and do what she could to bring them up, to bring their spirits up, to break it down to them where they felt better than when they first talked to her. I'm not the same person I was when I was in elementary school and high school. And technically, we're all supposed to uh, metamorphosize, right? Change from one step to another step to another step to another step. We're not supposed to stay, figuratively speaking, a caterpillar. We're supposed to rise and metamorphosize to a higher level. Like the saying goes, as you rise, you will experience new devils. Every new level, there's going to be a new devil. I didn't know what to do with my hand situation. I always kept my hand in my pocket because I didn't want the world to continue to talk about me. And then my left arm and my right arm is skinnier. My left arm is skinnier than my right arm. And my left arm is shorter than my right arm. And I used to ask God, why did you do this to me? And I felt like God probably hated me, like I was cursed. I want to motivate somebody out there. And I know some people got it worse. My dad used to tell me and show me, he says, you see the guy in the wheelchair there? You think he has it worse? You think you have it better? What would you rather have? Your hand or no legs? And wheelchair bound. So I've always been an outcast. I've always been a black sheep. And I've always been misunderstood. I'm sharing all that to share with you guys. You may not understand me by the time I get done with what I'm about to say. And it's okay. It's not meant for everybody to understand. Some will get it and some will not. I am willing to die on my sword for the truth, my reality, and the way I see things. We live in a society where we're trading hours for dollars, and people are tired. People are suffering. And it's sad that we have to trade hours for dollars to have food, clothing, and shelter. To have the 3 basic necessities to live. We're also taught if you don't work, you don't eat. And it says it in the Word, in the Bible. But what happens when people can't find work? I can't speak for women, but I have sympathy and I have understanding because we're all human beings, male and female. But I can really only speak for males. We're bred and we're taught if you don't work, you don't eat, and society doesn't have any respect for you if you don't work. Now, I've been working since I was 15, damn near all my life, and I continue to work. But what happens when society breaks down like it is today, where jobs are scarce? People are getting laid off by the droves in record number. People are losing their homes because there is no work to be had. And we as men are taught that our manhood is tied into our jobs and what we can produce. And if we can't find work, then our manhood goes down the drain. And when our manhood is tied into what we can produce, if we don't have any more work, then we're good as dead then. Because that's what it does to a man when you live in a society where we're bred. If you don't have a job, you're screwed. You can't get married, and if you can't get married, you won't be able to have any kids. Now, of course, you can have kids outside of marriage or without being married, but I think you guys catch my drift. And like I said in my past videos, I'm always rooting for the underdog because I've always been an underdog. And I see how this world works, and it's weird. You got people retiring from the military and they out in the street, homeless. They sacrificed their life for this country. A lot of vets have lost their limbs and arms. And if they haven't lost any body parts, they lost their mind. And those are the so-called working people. And then the everyday people, what happens when they lose their jobs and they can't find work? And in the depression days, when I researched depression, there were men leaving their families because they couldn't find work, and they couldn't face their wife, and they couldn't face their kids. This is the kind of system we live under, and it hurts. And of course, I'm going to have detractors who's going to say in the comment section, well, I got work, I'm good. It's those people, not me or us. It's those people. It'll never happen to me until it does. Or they'll say, well, it only happens to the uneducated. It only happens to the landscapers, right? Those who don't have a degree to do their job. Well, you got people who have degrees are looking for work because they can't find work in the field they went to school in. They're working at McDonald's. They're working at Burger King. They're working at Jack in the Box, all the low-end, meager jobs. What are we going to do when half of the population in the United States is unemployed? Because it looks like that's where it's going. Let's read the tea leaves. It's in our face. And eventually we're going to have to address it and be honest. We have to get to the point where we're honest with ourselves. If so-and-so lost their job, and a whole lot of people lost their job, you need to start thinking about yourself. Could this happen to me? And why do we have a system set up like this, where we're trading hours for dollars? And of course, again, I'm going to have some more detractors that's going to break down how the whole capitalistic system works. How we have these corporations, and they have this and they have that, and then the lower end people, the middle class and the poor, keep the businesses going, and the rich stay rich and continue to get richer and richer while the poor stay poor. We need a new system. Food, clothing, and shelter comes from the ground. And the United States has plenty of land. I'm sorry, y'all, and I shouldn't even apologize. I'm a truth teller. Something's got to give, or we're going to have more mental issues, more people ready to jump. And maybe that's the plan, to depopulate the society. But never think that this can't happen to you or your loved ones, your family, your friends. Trading hours for dollars for basic necessities, food, clothing, and shelter. Eventually, a lot of us, if not majority of us, will be living in our cars. People are already doing it today. And they're making it glamorous. You look at some of these TV shows, They make it real glamorous to live in a small little trailer house because they're trying to find a way to get out of the matrix. They're trying to find a way to beat the system. It's a game. And it almost feels like the Hunger Games. These TV shows ain't lying. There's a lot of messages in these TV shows. There's a lot of truths in these TV shows. And they know what they're doing. It's created by the powers that be. We're not going to understand it until it happens to the majority of us. Then it's like, oh, okay, that I get it now. When you're eating out of the trash can. Because that's where most restaurants are wasting or throwing away their food, in the trash cans. You're not going to understand it until you're living in a storage unit where you're backed into a corner. Yes, I'm different, and I embrace different. Not for the sake of being different, but this is who I am. This is who I am. I ask questions. Why this? Why that? Just like a child. And unfortunately, as we grow older, they beat that out of us. Send us to these schools that so-called teach us how to think, which really they're programming you to be a good little worker, a good little working bee, a good little working ant, and build riches for the rich. I feel like it's a cycle, just keeps going on and on and on. We're like chasing this carrot, and the powers that be, we're running after this carrot, and they just, like the cartoon, they're just pushing the carrot along, and we're just trying to grab it and grab it and grab it, and we just keep doing it year after year. It's like, think about it. The jobs, you make just enough just to survive. Just to survive. And there used to be a time, I think in the 60s and 70s, where one person only had to work. The man would go out and hunt and bring that money home. And the mom would take care of the kids and take care of the home front. Now, two parents have to work, and it's still not enough. We're constantly trying to reach a level that we can never reach. It's a figment of our imagination that they programmed and put in our minds. Now, of course, some of us do break away and become millionaires and all that good stuff. And then we come with that millionaire attitude. I'm better than everybody else. And they know, they're not stupid. The only way they get rich is off the backs of the poor. If truth be told. We need to wake up. So going back in the day, one person had to work in the family. Now, two people have to work, and it's not enough. And y'all know I ain't lying. And some of the people are happy because they have these little trinkets. I have a Mercedes. I have a BMW. I have a Rolls Royce. And some of y'all could afford it. Over and beyond. But most of us can't afford that stuff. And a lot of times, we go buy these Mercedes and BMWs just to look like the rich. And they're not even, and y'all not even, we're not even rich. And really can't afford it. Just because we can buy it doesn't mean we can afford it. You got people who got BMWs but having a hard time paying for an oil change. We got these houses with garages, and we got all these houses. We got all these cars. Say you got like 4 cars, but only 1 garage. If you can't house your cars, you can't afford it. Fronting. Fake it till you make it. Bullshit. We're going to have to change, and we're going to have to look at things the way it is. Or we're going to have more people deleting themselves. We're going to have more people having mental issues, more people on the streets, and more empty, perfectly good homes that can't be occupied by law. And just because it's a law doesn't mean it's a just law. I'll let you marinate on that and think about that. I don't have any solutions, but this is a conversation that we all can have. So instead of jumping in the comment section and telling me how the system works and telling me what, let's see, well, this is how capitalism works. You have supply and demand. I get all that. Have you ever thought that we may need a new system? And back in the ancient time, and I think it was like this in all major ancient societies. Real simple. Food, clothing, and shelter came from the ground. Nobody had monopoly on it. It was for everybody, but yet it was for no one. And it was like that in Africa. And I'm quite sure if it wasn't like that in other locations in the world, other than Africa, it was something similar. But somebody came along and said, we're going to capitalize on the people's labor and their blood, sweat, and tears. And we're going to make them chase this carrot that 99.9% of the population in the United States, and now this is all over the world, will not reach. It's a game. But okay, maybe 10% actually obtains the carrot, and then their whole mentality changes because they think they're better than you and me. Because they got rich off your sweat, off your blood, sweat, and tears. This don't make no effing sense, this whole system. And if we all going to be honest, we can honestly say it's going down, down, down. And this isn't me hoping and wishing for it to happen, because I don't hope for that. I've been homeless before, 3 times. I'm never looking forward to that. So if your fellow man and woman goes hungry and homeless, and the kids, even if it's just one kid, one woman, one man goes hungry and goes without food, clothing, and shelter, it should be all of our problems. Nobody should be above each other. Nobody should be more important than each other. I heard this one concept, and I'm going to close it with this. Remember when you were in school, you had that, or several kids that just didn't quite get it in class, right? They weren't the A student, they weren't the B student, and they weren't the C student. They were the F student. And maybe they tried really hard and they just didn't get it. And then we hear that same teacher, he's one of the best teachers, right? Because he or she is really good at what they do. At least that's what it looks like. But the teacher technically should be judged on the weakest student. The weakest student. And if they were judged on the weakest student, the game would change, right? Because we would have everybody in the class would be on a similar level, definitely not on the F level. If the teacher was judged on the weakest link in the classroom. So let's talk about it. If you guys think, Mike, the system is okay, it's working for me, and I'm okay with it, drop a comment in the comment section. Or if you want to change the system and you realize and you recognize, man, this ain't working, drop a comment in the comment section. If you feel like, Mike, you saying something that I've always felt, but I didn't have the guts nor the testicular fortitude to speak on it where everybody can hear, because I didn't want to look stupid and I didn't want to rock the boat, because that's what they do too. If you're that one where you don't go along to get along, if you're that one where you're like, hey, y'all don't see that pink elephant in the room? If you're that one, you will get ridiculed, you will get disrespected, but I don't give a shit. Truth is truth, and I don't mind speaking truth to power. And I know how dangerous this is by me speaking up on this, but I've been here before. And you can't kill what you didn't make. You may can kill this flesh, but you can't kill a revolution. This is Mike Chevalier. Keep it simple and precise. I'm done.